we got more China. Last time we realized that after about a century of humiliation that the Mongols, or not the Mongols, the rebels, they just kind of they took over China in about a decade. It didn't take very long. Very, very wild. They took it over. They reformed them. They have the guy Sun Yat-sen. He's a big deal. He's been modernizing and slightly westernizing China. I say slightly because, it's 1912 China is a very long stretch from actual Western civilization, but it's a lot closer.
More than 2,000 years of imperial rule in China are at an end. In its place, the only major republic in Asia. 3 days later, General Yuan Shikai becomes provisional president of the Republic of China. But almost immediately, the revolutionaries fall out with the new president.
It's because Yuan Shikai was loyal to original China, and the rebels they're loyal to the cause. It's not going to go well.
Whose personal ambition is all too clear. Now in opposition, Sun Yat-sen and his allies established the Kuomintang, or KMT, an evolution of the Tongmanhui. Elections are held at the end of the year, the first nationwide democratic elections ever.
Wow. That's kind of weird. You got, like, the Kuomintang, Republican, Democrat, and Unity. How do they kind of get them to look like... I mean, see, like... I don't know if you can see this guy. Like, the Democratic guy looks like a standard classic racist dude, which would be, correct for the time. And then big fat man in the Republican suit, he's probably like a little bit economically concerned. That looks like a Republican. Unity, that certainly looks like a third party candidate that nobody gives a shat about. So it seems funny to me just looking at these
ever
people.
Held in China, though only around 5% of the population are allowed to vote.
Yeah, 5%.
The Kuomintang win convincingly, taking nearly half the seats in the new National Assembly.
That's kind of wild that the Kuomintang... I mean, Republican and Democrat Party probably don't necessarily mean the just alternative that you would see in the United States, that most of the time, if you have something called a Democratic Party or a Republican Party, that may or may not actually mean anything when you think about it from the lens of a modern American election. That's not always the case. Usually, Democratic parties in a lot of places can be way more liberal or way more conservative than, like, the American one. Same thing with the Republican Party. Obviously, I have no concept of what the Unity Party is, but it just kind of sounds like a third party to me. Others? Wait. So, others seem to win a lot of seats. That's a staunch, that's a lot of seats. What the heck? Who are the others? That's a lot. That's all, like, minor party or non-partisan candidates. I've never seen that before.
Kuomintang leader Song Jiaorun, a close ally of Sun Yat-sen, is all but guaranteed to become the next prime minister. On the 20th of March 1913, as he is boarding a train in Shanghai, he is shot twice at close range. No conclusive evidence is ever found, but it's widely believed the assassination was carried out on President Yuan's orders.
Yeah. I mean, this guy, I just didn't recognize his name, so I figured he wasn't going to be that important. But also, usually it's not a good sign when someone, you have a vote, right? And then we're like, no, let's just fucking kill the guy who won. It's not usually indicative of good things.
China's first democratic elections will prove to be its last. The next...
Hint, hint for the 2024 election cycle in America. Usually it's not a good
Year,
thing.
rivalry between the Kuomintang and President Yuan's government explodes once more into armed conflict. But Yuan's Beiyang army is too strong. The Kuomintang and its supporters are defeated. The party is outlawed,
Wild.
and Sun Yat-sen returns.
So the party that just won the election last year gets outlawed. Sounds super democratic.
Returns to exile in Japan. Yuan Shikai has successfully grabbed power for himself.
By the way, this is obviously like what has happened is we had election results. We didn't like the results of those elections.
China is now.
And this guy now is like, let's just go back to the way we had things. Bang, bang, get rid of them. It's honestly surprising that they were able to shove out the Western Chinese guy, Sun Yat-sen. Pretty impressive how he took over China, and then he just took over China again after, Yuan Shikai did not win the election. Sun Yat-sen's party won the election. Kind of seems interesting
Now, in
to me.
effect, a military dictatorship. But the president is unable to solve any of the problems he's inherited from the Qing Empire.
Well, yeah.
He dies of natural.
The funny thing is that those problems that they inherited from the Qing Empire, they are the Qing Empire, effectively, right? Like, you inherited the problems from the people you overthrew the overthrowing of.
Causes
So, yeah.
just 3 years later. And China
Well, he's dead.
slides back into chaos.
This is all over the period of like a decade and change. This is wild. Let's read this quote. I very much look forward to the destruction of the old universe because from its demise will come a new one. And will it not be better than the old? Now, this is a very hideous quote because it's by one of the worst people who's ever lived. Mao Zedong, Chinese student, 1917. That guy, spoiler alert, maybe one of the worst human beings to have ever lived. New culture movement. Let's go.
The 1911 revolution failed to establish a stable republic in China, but it does
don't
open
say.
the way for an avalanche of radical new ideas.
I mean, can you consider maybe that would have been a factor given how many fucking parties might have won? Like, this is a very big country with a lot of House and Senate seats, upper and lower chamber. They got one, as we just saw the others win like a third of all the seats. That's like, people are not seeing eye to eye with each other. There's very fractious populations here.
Across China, young intellectuals are increasingly convinced that only a total break with China's past can secure its future. Their
That's,
ideas
ominous.
crystallize in the new culture movement.
I don't
Chun
like this.
Du Xiao is one of its most prominent leaders. From a wealthy family, Chun had been immersed in classical Chinese teaching from a young age,
Guy looks like Piston Hondo from Punch-Out.
but later turned his back on Confucian thought. In 1915, he founded the magazine New Youth, which became home to the most important radical writers in China. As a young professor at Peking University, Chun gathered like-minded intellectuals around him, such as Hu Shi, who calls for traditional Chinese characters to be replaced by...
Yo, who is she? Who's she? I don't even know. I don't even know her. Elect them, have them represent us? I don't even know her. Who's she?
Baihua, which better represents spoken Chinese.
My hand writes with my
Among their
mouth
students,
speaks.
a young man from rural Hunan province named Mao Zedong.
See, this guy I was warning you guys about. I don't like this guy. He's like one of my least favorite people. This is a guy who thinks with his noggin, but not his intellect. if that makes any sense to me. Like it makes enough sense to what I'm thinking about, but without kind of, I'm not trying to spoil all this because I do know a little bit of what happens here.
Chun Du-Xiu and the New Culture movement argue for
They don't
a complete
religion
rejection
bad,
of Confucianism.
Right? Get rid of that.
In its place,
Communism
they want
can't have
democracy.
religion. Look, we gotta have the people. The people matter, not this old archaic religion. They're gonna get rid of that so that we can just have democracy, which clearly worked 5 years ago in this video when we had a democracy election, and then we just killed everybody and threw everything away because it's not actually democratic.
Chinese nationalism.
Yo, these are even worse than the old three principles.
And radical social change, including female emancipation and greater gender equality.
No. See, this is how they sell it, right? You got gender equality, you got female emancipation, you got social change. That doesn't mean anything. That really doesn't mean anything, because this is why you get these awful. Democracy in and of itself isn't a bad idea. Science, adherence to like general like intellectual principles, usually a good idea. Nationalism can be a very good thing. But if that's the basis of your society, that's going to fail.
They will soon have their chance to take these ideas to the nation. In 1919, World War I's victorious powers are meeting in Paris to agree the post-war.
So this is like World War I ended, and they're kind of they're gonna chop shop a bunch of territories that Japan or Germany might have owned, or someone like. Some people might have owned some stuff, and then other people are going to get that stuff now, and then there's going to be a lot of money that's owed. And don't have to go back more than just like a decade and a half in this video's history to remember what it's like when well, I guess it might have been 25 years at the end of that like quote unquote century of humiliation. I don't know, not more than half a lifetime ago. We knew China got burdened with that like $500 billion modern-wise debt.
During the war, China had sided with the Allies and sent 140,000 men to serve as laborers on the Western Front.
Yep.
In recognition of this contribution, the Chinese expected to regain control of Germany's territory in Shandong. But now,
or well, not American, like Western, world Western.
News arrives that this colony has instead been awarded to Japan. The response in China is outrage.
Anyone see that one coming? Anyone see that coming? Dude, Japan didn't even really help them that much. Like, not that much more than China. Like, Japan helped out the Allies in World War I, like the US, France, Britain ones. But not like the extent which the actual main contributors did. But they got Chinese shit anyway. That's what happens. You're gonna piss the people off.
4th of May, 3,000 angry students take to the streets of Peking. They gather at Tiananmen, the entrance gate to the Forbidden City.
Tiananmen is going to be the kind of place that you're going to learn about a lot in these videos.
Inspired by the New Culture movement, their placards in Chinese, English, and French call for Mr. Democracy and Mr. Science.
Mr. Democracy and Mr. Science. I'd like to meet these individuals, pick their brain a little bit. Who are these two men? See, I don't know who's she? I don't know. Who the hell is Mr.? Who's he? Right? Who's he? Who's she? Who's he and who's she? I don't know. They're a little vague on this, Even though that's actually supposed to be poignant, that sounds super vague.
Protests spread across the country, uniting students and workers against the government and the Western powers, who are seen to have betrayed China yet again.
My face is covering it up.
The protests achieve little in the short term, but will come to be seen as a watershed in China's march towards a modern, nationalist future.
You remember all that stuff that started back in like this is 1919. I don't know if I can move out of the way and show you the little 1919. Um yeah, like all this shit happened in 20 years.
Many protesters are now disillusioned with Western liberal democracies. Some turn to Marxism, inspired by the success of the 1917 revolution in Russia.
Those damn Bolsheviks, I hate them.
Which seems to offer a model for total national transformation.
I mean, if you want to suck, if you want your society to be dog shit, then sure. I don't know why Bolshevik Russia was what inspired you so much. Like, there's a lot of hindsight that hasn't happened here. The Bolsheviks didn't even win, but like, or they didn't even start their revolution, but 2 years before this. But man, that's freaking betting on the wrong horse, if you will. You know, really a great idea to make your people prosper.
Among these converts, the 25-year-old Mao Zedong. He writes, I venture to make a singular assertion. One day, the reform of the Chinese people will be more profound than that of any other people.
I don't know about that, dude. Maybe it is more profound. Maybe it's just sounds like another 19. This is 1919. You know, 100 years later, might have been something pretty profound. Came about because of communist China.
And the society of the Chinese people will be more radiant than any other people.
Radiant? Yeah, they set themselves on fire. Sorry, that's really dark.
Our golden age, our age of glory and splendor, lies before us.
Oh boy.
In July 1921, the founding Congress of the Chinese Communist Party takes place in the French concession in Shanghai.
See, nothing good came out of Shanghai. I actually don't know that. I'm saying that.
There are just 13 members present who meet in secret.
That's
disrupted by French police. The group moves to a pleasure boat on South Lake.
A pleasure boat?
Mao Zedong is a founding member. The first General Secretary is Chun Duxiu. Despite their tiny numbers, they are determined to seize control of China's revolution.
You know, Mao in this image, he has significantly better hair than he will in the future. Just letting you guys know, this is the best it looks. The progress of the revolution should be divided into stages. The first stage is a period of destruction during which military rule is installed. Sun Yat-sen, 1923. The warlord era. I mean, it's weird because you don't think about the like relatively modern Chinese history as being super you know, feudal, but you know, get some warlords. A decade of that. It's gonna be a big old conflict between two different parties.
Following the death of the dictator Yuan Shikai, China had slid back into civil war. Generals compete to control the government in Peking, while the country is torn apart by rival warlords with their own private armies. Some are little more than organized criminals in uniform. The most prominent groups are the Zhili clique, the Anhui clique, and the Fengtian clique.
So all these high school cliques have, they're just broken out into drama, you know. Actually, it's funny to me that they had such, like, think about, like, Chinese history. This is going to come into a point where there's two warring factions, and one of them beats the other. Big spoiler. A lot of different people with a lot of different ideas in China, and most of them get shut the F down. That's what
each named after their provincial power base. By 1921, Sun Yat-sen's Kuomintang has established a military government of its own in Canton. Both the Kuomintang and
Dude, based cans.
The communists realize they can only obtain power if they first defeat the warlords. Both believe they can use the other to reach their goal. In 1923, with the Soviet Union's backing, the Chinese Communist Party allies itself with the Kuomintang.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. This is actually a bad, very, very bad idea. Very bad.
In a pact known as the First United Front. Chinese communists are urged to join the Kuomintang, which is itself transformed with the help of Soviet advisors, funds, and arms.
I don't like that. You know, things are bad when both, like, spoiler alert, both major factions are both heavily influenced and supported by the Soviets. That's not a good
Soviet
thing.
advisors also helped to set up a military academy on Huangpu Island. It will be run by Sun's chief military
kind of weird. It means it's fresh. That's what that means.
advisor, a rising star named Chiang Kai-shek. His aim is to mold the Kuomintang army into a disciplined and effective fighting.
So, disciplined, effective fighting force. Yes. This guy is going to be important. Probably should remember him.
But just months later, while visiting the north to negotiate with the warlords, Sun Yat-sen falls ill. On the 12th of March 1925, he dies from cancer in Peking, aged 58.
Not very old, but now that Sun Yat-sen is gone, it is now up to Chiang Kai-shek. And that might not be the best turn of events, but you know, it could be worse.
His last words: peace, struggle, save China.
I'm so sorry.
Sun's death leaves the Kuomintang in disarray, and China at a crossroads. The only certainty seems to be further civil war. For Sun's loyal lieutenant, however, the road ahead is clear. On hearing news of Sun Yat-sen's death, Chiang Kai-shek tells his wife, "If I control the army, I will have the power to control the country. It is my road to leadership." In Peking, the Forbidden City lies empty. The last emperor, Pu Yi, had been evicted by a local warlord and left to seek Japanese protection.
You know, it's kind of wild that the Japanese play so much of a role here. Okay, I mean, that sounds silly, actually. It's wild that they play so much of a role aiding the people that they were not, like, friendly with, if that makes any sense. They took in the emperor. The emperor and him were not... The emperor and the Japanese were not friends recently.
Whoever is to lead China now will face enormous challenges.
Anyway.
Fragile alliances, a fragmented country, and powerful neighbors that seek to plunge China back into an age of humiliation. Can't wait for the next episode.
Well, actually, we can probably. This is the end of this one. Holy crap, guys! I learned a lot today. I learned that China is very fractious. The warlords. We had a return of the warlords. It's so funny. It's so funny because it's so irrelevant. When you know the outcome, it seems like warlords don't even friggin' matter at that point. But anyway, that's a spoiler. Spoiler for another day. Let me know if you like watching me react to these. Let me know if you would just rather watch these on your own because, you know, epic history is pretty epic anyway. They got some nice soundtracks, some nice music. That's episode 1. This is part 2 because I split it in half. Episode 1 of the Chinese like 1800 to modern era series done by Epic History. Links for them in the description. as usual, definitely be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check them out. Definitely be sure to like, comment, subscribe to moi here at the Boston-Raleigh channel. We are going to have more stuff. I don't know if you want me to react to more of these. I don't know if you want to react to something else. I don't know. Whatever you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. Have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.